Okay, today we're going to talk about the first part of section 8.6. Now 8.6 is talking about writing linear equations. So these last couple chapters I've given you a linear equation, I've asked you to do some things with it. Now instead I'm going to give you some information and I want you to be able to write me a linear equation. So let's kind of review what a linear equation looks like. It is always going to be in the form y equals mx plus b, where m is my slope, b is my y-intercept. I have to know these two things if I want to write the equation of the line. So I need my slope and I need my y-intercept. So the first thing that we're going to do is I'm just going to tell you what the slope is and what the y-intercept is, and I want you to plug them into this equation here, and I want you to write in a line, write the equation of the line. So let's say I have this, I'm going to tell you that the slope is -3. The y-intercept is 2. Okay, I need two things to write the equation of the line. I need to fill in this blank here, m, and I need to fill in this blank here, b. Now remember, m is my slope. So instead of m, I'm going to plug in -3. And instead of b, I'm going to plug in 2. So the equation of the line with a slope of -3 and a y-intercept of 2 would look like y equals -3x plus 2. This part's pretty simple. Let's do one more together. Let's say we have a slope of 1 and a y-intercept of -4. Okay, so remember our equation, y equals, instead of m, we're going to plug in our slope, which is 1. Then we have an x, and then we have plus b, and my b is -4. Now typically, instead of saying y equals y equals 1x plus a -4, it will usually be written as y equals x, we don't usually write the 1, and then just -4. But either answer is equivalent, doesn't really matter. Okay, I want you to try the last two on your own. Write me the equation of the line that has a slope of -1, a y-intercept of -15, and then over here I want you to write an equation of the line that has the slope of 2 and the y-intercept of 4. So go ahead and pause the video and write me those two equations of the line. Okay, hopefully you got y equals -x minus 15 and y equals 2x plus 4. Okay, now we have another way that we can write an equation of the line. They're not going to be quite so nice and give you the slope and the y-intercept, but instead they're just going to give you 2 points. I know that to make a line, I only need 2 points. So if I have my 2 points, I should be able to write the equation of that line. So let's look at this example real quick. 0, 3, 4, 2. So I want to write the equation of the line that passes through these 2 points. Now remember, to write the equation of the line, I need 2 things. I need my slope, and I need my y-intercept. I'm not given either one of these, but if we kind of think back to the last couple of sections, if I have 2 points, I know how to find at least one of these. If I have 2 points, I know that I can find the slope. So if I have these 2 points, we could either just use that equation, or we could use the table where we listed out our points. And remember, slope is rise over run, or the change in y over the change in x. So if I look at the change in my y-coordinates, 3 minus 2 gives me 1, 0 minus 4 gives me -4. We put the y over the x. So the slope of the line through these 2 points is -1/4. Okay, so I have one of my pieces of information, but here's the thing. I still need to find this y-intercept here. Okay, well let's look at the equation. I have y equals mx plus b. Let's think about all of these letters and variables that I have here, and let's see if I can fill any of these blanks. If I'm looking for a y, I'm wondering, do I have a y? Is there a number that I could plug in for there? Now hopefully you remember that these points here, this 0, 3 is an x, y. This 4, 2 is an x, y. I have 2 y's that I could plug in there. Similarly, when I look over here at this x, I'm looking for a number that I could plug in for x. Well, look, I have two x's. I have two options that I could plug in for x. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick one of our points, and we're going to plug in the x for x, the y for y, and then the slope that we just found in for m, and we're going to solve for b. Most of the time there's going to be a point that's easier than the other to solve, and if we look at this one, since there's 0, most of the time that's the one you want to choose. So if I plug 0 in for x, 3 in for y, negative 1/4 in for m, I should only have one variable left to solve for, and it's b, which is what I need. So if I have this equation and I'm trying to solve for b, I need to take that negative 1/4 times 0, which is just 0, and I get 3 equals 0 plus b, or just 3 equals b. Okay, well look at this. I have my b, I have my slope. So I have my slope, I have my y-intercept. We can write the equation of the line. Plug negative 1/4 in for m, 3 in for b. The equation of this line would be negative 1/4 x plus 3. So if you're given 2 points, you want to find the slope, and then you're going to plug the slope, an x and a y, into your equation and solve for b. You have your two pieces of information. You can write the equation of the line. Let's do another one together. Let's try negative 2 comma 6, 0 comma negative 4. Okay, I need two things to write the equation of the line. I need my slope and I need my y-intercept. If I just have 2 points, I know I can find my slope. So we're going to list out my x comma y, and we're going to list out the points. Remember, slope is the change in y. 6 minus a negative 4 gives me 10, over the change in x. Negative 2 minus 0 gives me negative 2. Okay, we put the y over the x for a slope of negative 5. So I have my slope. Now I need to find my y-intercept. So I need to pick one of my points that I'm going to use. I need an x and I need a y. Now if we look at this one, I could use negative 2 comma 6, and if you use negative 2 comma 6, you'll get the same answer. You're just going to have to work a little harder. If I see I have a point that has a 0 in it, that's the one that I want to use. So I'm going to plug 0 in for x, negative 4 in for y, negative 5 in for m, 0 in for x, and I can solve for b. So notice that negative 5 comma 0 just turns into a 0, so I get negative 4 equals b, and I found b very easily. So I have my slope, I have my y-intercept. I can write the equation of my line. Y equals negative 5x minus 4. Okay, let's do one more together, and I want you guys to try the last one on your own. This time, let's try 3 comma 2, 4 comma 4. Okay, if I'm given 2 points, the first thing I need to find is my slope. So if I list out my points, slope is my change in y. 2 minus 4 gives me negative 2, over my change in x. 3 minus 4 gives me negative 1. So change in y over change in x, a negative 2 over a negative 1 just leaves me with a positive 2. Okay, now I need to take one of my points and plug it in for x and plug it in for y. If I look at these points, I have 3 comma 2, 4 comma 4. None of them have a 0 involved, so not really a super easy option. It doesn't really matter which point you plug in. Let's just plug in this first one here and see what happens. So we're going to plug 3 in for x, 2 in for y, 2 in for m. So instead of y, we're going to plug in 2. Instead of m, we're going to plug in 2. Instead of x, plug in 3, and we're solving for b. So I have 2 equals, 2 times 3 gives me 6. So 2 equals 6 plus b. If we subtract 6 from both sides, I get b equals negative 4. So I have my slope, I have my y-intercept. I can write the equation of my line. Okay, I want you to try this last one on your own. Okay, write the equation of the line that passes through the points 0, 2, 6, comma 8. Alright, you should have got y equals x plus 2.